I love it.
That may be my favorite new animation that we have. A couple of weeks ago, we introduced you to two new members of Team PTL, Katie O'Malley and Boaz Frankel. Now, they will be with us while Mikey and Selena enjoy their maternity leave. By the way, no word yet on Mikey's baby. We're keeping points on this, but he should be arriving soon. We'll let you know.
So exciting. Well, we knew Katie and Boaz were great. What we didn't know is Boaz is an experienced gardener.
I was thrilled to learn this, and in fact, today, he's taking us to his house. So, Boaz, show us around.
Oh my gosh, thanks for coming to my house this morning. It's so nice to have you here. Well, here we are. I live in Squirrel Hill, and there are a couple things I'm excited to tell you about. First of all, I want you to imagine when we moved in here 3 years ago, our whole yard was all lawn, and so obviously we've planted a few things before then. One of the things I'm especially proud of is this rock garden, because Brooke, my wife, and I schlepped every single one of these rocks here. And there's a pretty cool plant that I want to show you. There's actually a cactus that's native to western Pennsylvania. It's this prickly pear cactus right over here. It's crazy. Like if you look around on different hillsides, you might see that growing, and it's native to Pittsburgh, which who knew there was a cactus native to Pittsburgh? Over here, I've got a quick little humble brag because I just got certified, so I'm official Audubon backyard habitat over here, which means that most of the plants over here are all native plants, which means that they attract birds and they feed pollinators. And so all this 3 years ago was all lawn. This was one of the classic Pittsburgh sloped lawns, which I feel like you see everywhere, which are such a pain to mow, and it's so much more enjoyable when it's full of plants. And Jeff's looking at this rattlesnake master, which is one of my favorite plants. It looks so unusual. It looks super spiky, but it's actually not that spiky. They're just interesting little flower heads. And I planted this so that it'll bloom all season long. So right now you see the phlox, you see some skullcap blooming, and a little bit you'll see the aster and the ironweed blooming. Another thing which is really tough with gardening is these strips right here on the side of the sidewalk, because they're getting hit by salt, they're getting hit by dog pee probably. People are walking on them, car doors are slamming them. So last year we ripped up all the lawn over here and we planted it with allium and penstemon and prairie dropsy, and so far it's surviving. It's survived all the salt, it's survived all the dog pee, and I'm excited to show you our backyard. We've got sort of a before and after to show you, so it's right back up here. And when we moved in again 3 years ago, it was all grass back here, so I'm excited to show you what it looks like now. Come on up, Jeff. And so I've created this cottage garden back here, this native cottage garden, along with a couple herbs and stuff I like. And if you want to see what it looked like 3 years ago, I think we've got a photo of that. So that's what it looked like just when we moved in, before we'd planted anything. And now I think it's a little more exciting. And so we filled it up with echinacea and bergamot. And even right now, I see a bunch of bees buzzing around. They're hummingbirds that like to stop by. And one thing I'm especially excited about is this pond. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted a pond in our backyard. And so I finally dug one 2 years ago. And now, like, every time I look up there are little birds coming for a drink. There are little chipmunks visiting, which is so cool. And I do want to point out a few things. There's this plant, which I feel like no one knows about, called borage. Maybe I'll make Jeff taste a little bit of it, because the flowers taste like cucumber. Do you want to taste that, Jeff? There you go. We'll see if he thinks it does. Does it taste like cucumber?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, thumbs up, he says. But anyways, thanks for coming to my garden, David and Heather. You should come for real next time.
This is so great. What a wonderful job you've done in transforming all that space. My question for you, though, is how do you get back there to weed? Or do you not weed because everything's native? I would be so afraid that I would step on some of the things that are blooming.
Right.
It is tricky. It is very dense, maybe a little too dense, especially this late in the season. But, I just try to spend a little time every time I'm walking around the backyard. I try to pull a weed. Even as I've been walking around this morning, I've been yanking a few weeds when I see them. And thankfully with native plants, they thrive in these conditions, so they're able to crowd out a lot of other things.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
That.
And what you fed Jeff, our photographer, is edible, right? It's not like poisonous hemlock.
Jeff is going down.
Right?
Jeff is going down.
He's starting to sweat profusely right now, so I don't know.
He just trusted you. You're so trusting. Hey, and we're going to head back a little bit later on in the show. Boaz is going to show us what we can plant at this point in the season and still get it planted and take advantage of summer. But really, spectacular backyard. I love it. I always wanted a pond in my backyard, too.
You know what's really cool is we are so excited for Mikey and Selena, but it's so nice to get to know our new team members here
so
who are joining us. Yeah, this is really neat.